Today we are making cinnamon raisin biscuits. So quick and easy, y'all. Won't take no time at all. Let's get it started. So we're going in with 2 cups of self-rising flour. We're going in with some baking soda, a half teaspoon, a half teaspoon of salt. We're going in with ground cinnamon, 1 full teaspoon. Now we're going to be adding some light brown sugar. And we're going in with 2 tablespoons. Okay, now we're going to work this all in real good, and sometimes that brown sugar can clump up a little bit. So just make sure it's nice and smoothly mixed in here. And I also use a little bit of baking soda with my self-rising flour, if you're wondering, because I just believe it gives it a little bit more rise, if you were wondering that. All right, so let's mix this in nice and smooth here. All right, so we're going to be adding 1 stick of salted butter. Making sure it's really nice and cold. And then 1 stick is equivalent to, of course, just a half cup here. Okay, so we're going to take our hands and we're going to just mix that butter and that flour in together real good until it gets to be like a cornmeal-y mixture. Well, cornmeal-y consistency rather. Okay, so now we're going to be adding our buttermilk, and you want to give it a really good shake. Okay, we're going to be adding 1.5 cups of buttermilk. So next, y'all, the star of the show, we got to put those raisins. And 1 cup will do the trick. Okay, y'all, so now we're just going to mix it all in here. Now just get it all into all that flour is evenly incorporated here. And right here I can see that I'm going to need just a little bit more flour. Sometimes you have to add a little bit more flour. I start with 2 cups, but sometimes depending on the brand of flour you use, will determine whether or not you need a little bit more. You know you're going to need at least 2 cups, and sometimes the 2 cups is all you'll need. But again, depending on the flour brand, you might need a little bit more. So I did need a little bit more because it was a little bit tackier than I wanted it here. All right, but this is coming along great here. So again, it's going to use between 2 cups to about 2.5, just depending on the brand of flour here. Okay, so I was going to do drop biscuits with this recipe, but I didn't have my scoop, so I decided I'm going to do the pat method here instead. All right, so I'm just going to take a little flour here, and I'm going to work this dough just to make sure it's not sticking to my hands here. You don't want to overwork the dough. Just get it to where you can work with it without it being so sticky. Using a little flour as needed. Just on a clean surface here, we put a little flour here. And we're going to work the dough just a little bit more because I see that the dough is still sticking to my hands just a little bit when I flip. So I just put just a little bit more flour. Again, just a little bit at a time. Want to be able to press without any of the dough sticking to your hands or your gloves. All right, so we're just gonna pat it out here real good, and we're not making a huge batch of biscuits. It's about 12 biscuits total. So as we get it patted out to a nice little, well, I guess I can call this some kind of a rectangle. We're going to flip once here, and then we're going to flip the other side. Do a little bit more pressing, and then we're going to flip one more time, and this is creating your layers. Very easy here. Okay, now if you have a rolling pin, great. I'm not using a rolling pin today. I'm just pressing with my hand. Very old school method here. And you're going to pat out to a about a square, between a square and a rectangle shape. I guess I call it a square tangle. But anyway, you want to have it about a 1/2 inch thick. And this is about the shape I'm going for here. So now I'm going to take my handy dandy putty knife. I'm pretty sure most of you all will be using a spatula, but I always like to use my putty knife. So we're going to cut straight down the middle here. And when I do patted biscuits or rolled biscuits, I always cut into squares. I never do the circle biscuits because I don't like to rework the dough. I only like to work the dough one time because the second batch of dough, if you rework it, is almost always more dense. So this makes sure all of your biscuits are nice and fluffy here. So now we're going to cut down again like so. And we should end up with a total of 12 biscuits here. Perfect. So now I go in with a little bit of liquid egg or like egg beaters. You're free to use a regular cracked egg with a little bit of like one egg with a tablespoon of water, and mix it up, and that will give you a nice egg wash. I just like to use this because it's a smoother consistency for me. More so than just using the egg and water, but they both work just fine. And I know a lot of people don't have liquid egg or egg beaters on hand. Okay, so we're just going to brush it across here. This gives it an absolutely beautiful finish to these biscuits. They make them so brown, and it just gives them a beautiful gloss. You brush them nice and even. So now we're going to take a 9 by 13 inch pan. We're going to make sure it's greased really good here. So getting all the corners here. We don't want those biscuits sticking. And of course you can bake them in any kind of pan you want, as long as they have enough room to rise real good. Okay, so we're going to begin to put our biscuits in this pan here. Just giving them a little bit of separation. Okay, we want to rise a little bit. Now, if you don't mind yours touching, that's fine. But I found that the 9 by 13 inch pan works great. Okay, so from here I'm using my putty knife. If you have a spatula, to just go underneath each biscuit to help release the biscuits from the surface much easier. If you try to pick it up without a spatula, they can kind of get a little messy and kind of ruin the shape. So this just makes it that much easier to release. Okay, so we're going to put them in the oven on 350 degrees for roughly 15 minutes. It might take 20 depending on your oven here. So just kind of keep an eye on them. So right here we're making our vanilla glaze. That's 1 cup of powdered sugar. And we're going in with 2 tablespoons of regular milk, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla here. And I'm using my little hand mixer attachment to mix this up. If you used to watching my channel, you know I use what I got. It was in arm's reach, so that's what I grabbed today, y'all. Working for me just fine. So we're going to mix this together real good, making sure this glaze is nice and smooth. Okay, so my biscuits are out the oven, and look at that pretty shine. That egg wash just made it just beautiful before we even put anything on it. Okay, so now I'm going in with a little bit of melted butter. Now this step is optional. If you don't want the added butter, you don't have to use it. But of course, I own a soul food restaurant, so of course more butter is always better in my opinion, y'all. So just get them all brushed with that good butter here. Alright, so now we're getting ready to put a little drizzle of our vanilla glaze, our first little layer. We're going to put a little bit on top first, and then we're going to go in a second time to really seal the deal with this glaze. Alright, and so for you all who are new to my channel, my name is Cassandra Pie, and I do own a restaurant here in Memphis, Tennessee called Southern Hands Homestyle Cooking. So I am a Southerner. Do I have any fellow Southerners watching? And if you're not a Southerner, let me know where you're watching from. I would love to say hello. Alright, so we're going to finish this off here. Let it sit just about 2 to 3 minutes. It really doesn't take long. And we're going to go in with our second little drizzle here. So these have been sitting about 3 good minutes. So now we're just going in with a little extra glaze. So good, y'all. So quick and easy. Look how good they turned out, y'all. They are so good. I cannot wait to take a bite. Alright, now I'm going to grab me one of these biscuits here, kind of break it open for you to see. Oh, it turned out perfect. Now I'm going to put me a little bit of butter on here and take me a little bite. I don't want to tease you too bad. I want to thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you try the recipe soon. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all next time.